Greetings, this is Christine Bundy on Indiana, and hopefully this is Christine Bundy on Indiana with the Indiana Assembly. Hopefully everything should be a go this time. I've got, it doesn't tell me to go live this time where I thought it had. It's got live at the bottom. Okay, so all should be good here. It's given me the ability so that you can be able to chat and I can be able to see your chat. Let's see how I can get the display going for the I was going to print the presentation so that you guys and then I'll be able to get it up to the on the link description in the YouTube description for this video once the call is over. I'll get this saved. This is I'm probably showing all of this on the display now that I've selected. No, okay, good. So pardon me just a moment as where is that? Okay, that's over here. Let me get this saved so we have this, and then as soon as the call is over, I can be able to get this link uploaded in for you all for this evening's call. This is training. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and get the display going so we can see what's going on there. All right, let me get me adjusted here. Me over here, I guess. Not block out so much of the screen. We want to be able to share some of this. Oh, I don't know if it shows it if it shows the chat now in this one. Okay, so we'll find out. All right, so we'll get some of this going. I think that I have to hold it up here, but I have to switch back and forth to be able to switch for the slides. Again, you're welcome to comment. Let us know your name, what county on Indiana that you're on. You can be able to share that information in the chat. You do need to subscribe to be able to do that. And I think wait a minute to be able to do it. At first it had, because I noticed it had different time lengths, and at first it was set 10 minutes, I think. So I'm trying to get it to, I'm getting it to where I'm also remembering to select that to be a subscriber. Okay, so and like the video if possible so that it helps the algorithms. Of course, you know about all of that, and of course sharing. All right, so we'll go ahead and get things going here. Let me change the screen. Okay, so you're going to want to put your name in the chat with your county. All right, so we'll go ahead. I'm not sure if I think I have to. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the Bivens decision. This is a public meeting. Anyone in this meeting claiming any form of U.S. citizenship or employment with any federal agency is now, for the next segment of this gathering, new member orientation class, invited to either declare your presence and business here, or we ask you to leave the class at this time. I will repeat, if you are a U.S. citizen or an undeclared federal agent, please raise your hands or vacate our gathering. For the third and final time, this notice is that you don't respond appropriately to the Bivens decision immediately. You are made fully liable for your lack of disclosure, and any so-called evidence that you collect is tainted and inadmissible. Answering to a roll call or without announcing or declaring their presence. Okay, we'll move forward. Again, I'm changing screens here. So we have new member orientation for this training. So it's week 2, assembly mission and you, and the jurisdictions and what are they is what we'll be discussing this evening. Okay. So if you haven't already, get your paperwork completed with your recording secretary. That would be me for Indiana. Once you are published, start on the other needed documents outlined on the website as in TASA. All right, that's where you got where the templates are. Correct your status templates, and then you'll go on over to chart your course, and there's additional templates there in support for you. Key points to remember: little known safeguards the founders put in place using the Belcher family allowed the assemblies to be brought into session. The Federation is representation in international jurisdictions for all states. The Federation is currently our governing authority until we stand up our state. Because there was no state assemblies functioning, the Federation is the governing authority. Once the state of states are up and functioning, the Federation is the cooperation of, and the drawing, okay, a cooperation of all of the state of states. This is one of the questions on the final knowledge review. The Great Fraud began in 1861 when Congress adjourned sine die after the election of Abraham Lincoln. All right. Okay, and then again is that reminder, the original call to session by the Federation. Indiana Assembly mission statement is what we'll be going over this evening, and the 3 jurisdictions that you need to know. All right. Okay, I want this. Nope. The reconstruction begins. All right. So be it known to all to whom these presents come that there is a lawful and legal means provided for Texas and every other state to assemble. And that means of lawful and peaceable assembly requires the process to take place under the authority and guidance of a recognized summoning authority. This is from Anna's article number 3232. The owner of the Great Seals, the hereditary head of state, James Belcher, called the states into session, which is the United States of America, our unincorporated Federation of States. The T and the U are capped. Our unincorporated Federation of States. This was the only possible means left to call the states into session. The responsibility of calling the states into session carries with it the obligation to ensure the assemblies created are peaceful and composed of qualified people living within the borders of each state. From there, provide discipline, framework, and guidance to establish on each state a general assembly, a business international assembly, a jural assembly, public for the public court, and a state militia assembly. Those that have declared and recorded the redemption of their birthright political status are considered qualified people. But that means you also have to complete the paperwork. Okay. All right. The reconstruction is in progress and not given to interpretation. The Federation oversees the legal and peaceable nature of the state assemblies that result from the reconstruction. Otherwise, our activities could be mistaken as hostile actions and be legally suppressed by military force. Once the Indiana Assembly is fully seated, the Federation will step back from its current oversight duties. It is our duty to uphold the peace and the public law. All right. So here we go with a pop quiz. What's the duty of the Federation relative to our assembly? It's the oversight of the Reconstruction, the lawful government owed the people on Indiana. All right, now we'll go into Indiana's the Indiana Assembly mission statement. Our Indiana Assembly is dedicated to the restoration of a complete and fully operational land and soil jurisdiction, state and county court system serving the people of Indiana, the preservation of the national trust, the enforcement of the public law, the upholding of the federal constitution owed to our state and people, the repopulation of our land and soil jurisdiction, the filling of vacated public offices, and the reclamation of our material and intellectual public and private assets. To these ends, we, the living people on Indiana, have called the eligible Indiana nationals and electors to assemble, and we have established the process and procedure to qualify jurors and others competent to hold state citizenship and hold public office. We do this peacefully and without rancor in the exercise of our unincorporated powers and capacities. Okay, so remember, we are all working toward a common goal. We're all equals working toward a better future. We are all volunteers at this stage and not anyone's employee. Nor does that mean, that you're expecting someone to just pick up the phone at 8, 9, even 10, 11 o'clock at night just to pick up the phone and call you. Okay, think about it. Have respect. We are, let's see, the golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated, i.e. with respect, decency, and understanding. All right, so consider this. So why are you here? Is it to build a better future for all Indianians? Will you do your part to reconstruct the lawful government we're all owed? Even when obstacles, bumps, and scrapes come your way? This is a question on the final knowledge review. These questions are things to ponder in your daily life as you grow in knowledge and discernment. As the famous saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall. And it's not that any particular answer would be something that would say, well, just think about it. Why are you here? Are you here to help support and bring a better future for Indianians? Okay. So, pop quiz. All right. So, how should we conduct ourselves during all assembly meetings? Treat others the way you want to be treated. Respect each other. And don't just expect others to show it to you, but then you don't show it to them. Right? Okay. Oh, is my virtual camera on? Do I have to have that going too? I hope everything is actually working this time. It's been, evidently it was live because it was able to get me through to chat. So I just noticed that it had the virtual camera wasn't going. So we'll see. It records, so we'll see. Okay, so treat others the way you want to be treated and respect each other. All right, so here we go. Ready for the hard part. So here's where we're going to get into the air, sea, and land jurisdictions. Okay, so how about a little quiz? So which one goes together? Which ones go together? So there's Pope. A is Pope, B is sea, or the sea. C is land, D is air, E is British Crown, F people. So if you do end up watching the video afterwards too, put in the comments. Right? If you're watching the video as you go along, put the comments in and which ones go together. Are you ready? All right, let's go. Here we go. So the Pope is over the air. British crown is over the sea. And the people are on the land. We knew that part, right? However, it's just like if the British crown is over the sea and they're doing their job, we know they're doing their job, right? And if we know that the Pope is over the air, and we know the Pope is doing it in air, remember air, a lot of that is mental, right? So a lot of that is going to be making sure to get in every aspect to keep that process, keep that always running in your mind. Okay, so, well, let's see why. Get into this a little bit deeper here. So, why is it separated as it is? So, in 1302, the first and largest express trust is created by Pope Boniface VIII, the Unum Sanctum 1302. So, the link goes to search that has several links that you can go to that specifically has that. And then you can be able to read it from various sources. So this was followed by the First Testamentary Trust in 1455, the Second Testamentary Trust in 1481, and the Third Testamentary Trust in 1537 by the popes of the time periods. So are you noticing that they're doing those in threes just as they did the constitutions in threes? Just interesting connections. So the trust was separated into the different jurisdictions of air, sea, and land. Let's review the differences of the jurisdictions, their varying law forms. So why are there 3 different jurisdictions of law? So that's because Pope Boniface VIII started the separation of jurisdiction in 1302. Later, popes created other trusts that continued and set the separation of jurisdictions. Let's see. All right, so now we'll get into this a little bit more. So the air jurisdiction is global in nature and controlled by the Pope and his appointees. Air for Pope is municipal. And municipal is on everything. It's in everything. Things associated with the jurisdiction of the air include living and dead souls in the form of trusts. Sisticavi trusts, right? Wills, patents, and ideas global in nature. That's what I was saying, wasn't it? Because that's dealing with the mind, right? And how they can get you to think that a lot more may be going on that maybe not actually is. Remember that it did tell us in the Bible that there's wars and rumors of wars. A lot of it is based on a lot of BS that they come up with that's hot air to see how much of it you're going to buy into. How much of it will you believe? Excuse me. I was out raking the yard today. Excuse me. So my nose is like, I've been trying to get all the dust and leaves and stuff. Been raking the yard while he and the neighbors were working on cutting down a tree branch that had fallen before we even moved here, but it was finally nice enough everybody could be out. So, excuse me. So it's because I'm still dealing with leaves and dirt from being out raking. Okay, so next one here. All right, so air jurisdiction law is made up of the following. So there's Roman civil law, then there's slavery, the all capital letter names. And these are ecclesiastical in nature, and there are harsh punishments. The Pope represents a duality of Christianity and the Holy Roman Empire, which is not holy in that part. And the maxim, let him who would be deceived is still in effect because of this duality. All right. Here we go with the sea jurisdiction. So the sea jurisdiction is international in nature and controlled by the British monarchs. So sea is British Crown, and that's territorial. Those under the jurisdiction of the sea include the all caps U.S. citizen, resident, taxpayer. So while you may, there are some that I had one email me saying that they had the right to be able to reside anywhere, but which also meant that they could also present their status correction to any state assembly that they chose because they have had the right to reside anywhere. And I said, well, U.S. citizens reside, but we living men and women, Americans, we inhabit the land. We are actually domiciled on the land. And so that's the state assembly that we present our paperwork to, is to where we actually are, the state that we actually live. So, U.S. citizens are residents. So you don't want to be a resident, because a resident, it doesn't own anything. You just live there. You just reside. You're just like the resident that's in that White House, right? They're also over all vessels. So that means all vessels, that if it's considered a corporation, it's considered a vessel. It's over mariners, sailors, merchants, creatures of the sea, international in nature. Interesting. Think about that. All right. Here we go. We'll continue with sea. So it's made up of admiralty and maritime law that apply to vessels on and in their jurisdiction. So the sea jurisdiction laws include and has private law, international law of the sea, attorneys, corporations, which are dead entities, and they operate in commerce, where living men and women operate in trade. Okay. All right. Here we go with the land jurisdiction. So the land jurisdiction is national in nature and was given to the Spanish king to control in the original trust. The Spanish king gave up his control of the trust of the land jurisdiction back to the people. After the Declaration of Independence, Americans gained control of the land jurisdiction. That's you. You're the people on the land. That means you're supposed to do something. You're not supposed to be looking for someone else to do it. The ones you thought were supposed to be the ones to do it really weren't, because that's what we got into. So that's what we're here for, is to get things cleaned up. Okay, so land is the people. This is the federation of states. The land jurisdiction of the land, or the jurisdiction of the land, includes all resources of the land: people, animals, plants, and minerals. Okay, that's us, the people, all the animals, the plants, and the minerals. That's what that's all stuff, our food too, right? Isn't our food in that? We are supposed to be responsible even for taking care of our own food. We are not supposed to let someone else care and prepare our own food. Okay. Continue here with land jurisdiction. Is owed the public law, which is a form of common law. This is a question on the final review. Its lawful foundations include common law, the Geneva Conventions, Constitution, Mosaic law, Declaration of Independence, and common sense. Right? Pop quiz, right? So who oversees the air jurisdiction, right? We have the Pope, which is Roman civil law. The sea jurisdictions, the British Crown, Admiralty, maritime law, private corporate law, so corporations, right? Or the Pope is corporations. And the people are supposed to oversee the land jurisdiction. That's common law, public law. Okay? All right, before the next class, review the information in the PowerPoint, which, like I said, after the call, I'll have the, I've already created the PDF. I will upload it to Mega to get the link, and I will have the link posted in the description for the video of the call. And everything should go through this time. I'm really hoping, because it does say that the chat is on, but nobody has chatted, so I'm not sure. Okay, so, and you're going to want to review Anna's book, You Know Something Is Wrong When. If you go to the 50 States site, the educational tab, that'll take you right to a PDF of You Know Something Is Wrong When. If you have the actual one, it looks like this. You know something is wrong when. This is what the back looks like. Alright. Not saying you have, I'm not saying you need to purchase it. Albeit it is helpful to have it, to be able to have it so that if you're not online, you can still be able to do some reading. And as well as PDF isn't in color, so you don't get the full advantage of the pictures with the color as in the book. But PDF is available to you free of charge. Or you can go through the ASN store to be able to purchase the book. Think about your personal mission statement as an American state national or citizen and create one. Anyone that wishes to share it in the next class may do so at the conclusion of the class, or if you wanted to share it in the comments as to what your mission statement is to get things moving for you. All right. All right, so in summary, the Belcher Safeguard put in place by the founders allowed the assemblies to be called into session after a long slumber. The Federation is oversight until Indiana State is fully assembled to ensure the protection of all Americans upon the land and soil. This is a question on the final knowledge review. Everyone needs to consider why they are part of the assembly and why they corrected their status. There's no right or wrong answer other than if certainly there shouldn't be any reason that you wanted to harm anyone or physical property, right? So, and then it's then for the jurisdictions, right? We have air is the Pope, municipal, global, dealing with all vessels, corporations. Pope is because that's air, that's all mental, mind things, a lot more mind games. Sea is British Crown, territorial, and then land is Americans. We're the ones, that is national, we're supposed to be supporting. Okay. All right. So more information, here's a link for Anna's blog. Or you can go to the search site that is a search of all of her articles. So you can do topic search. That way, here is the TASA link. Here, number 3 here states an educational link right there. That will take you to the PDF, the free PDF of You Know Something's Wrong When. But again, it doesn't have the color. Well, I guess these don't have colors either. But it's not, so it's in black and white as well. But it's still pretty cool to have the actual book. But anyway, that's up to you if you wanted to go ahead. But if you go to that link there on that page, and it may even be, you may even see it as soon as you click on the link. That's the free PDF for that. Otherwise, you can be able to purchase that if you wanted to. Also, you want to review the brief report by Anna. There's a link to it right there. The Declaration of Flag document, that was autographed by James Belcher. That was done way back, right after, probably even before the assembly's called into session. So you'll be able to read all of that. That's interesting information. It's a lengthy read, but there's a lot of information in there. Let's see. Okay, so, and then of course her other books, PDFs on the website. ASN Secure is the store, asn.secure. And all can be found at the third link in the above section, so number 3 up here. All right. So here we go. Any questions? I didn't see anybody on make any comments on chat. Oh, good. It does show live. Okay, so that's something that's new to show. I'm not sure. Okay. So anyway, let me go ahead and turn that off. I get me a little bit bigger here. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to be on the call. Or if you've taken the time to come at your opportunity to be able to review the call. And as soon as the call is over, I will have the link up with the presentation so you can be able to follow through with that. And again, think about why are you doing this, right? What are you doing this for? And are you able to come put together a mission statement that you would be willing to share? So I will see you in the next call. I wish you peace and love.